This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a social commentary, and I've seen You People, a new rom-com from director Kenya Barris that puts a bit of a spin on modern dating, cultural differences, and somewhat lazy filmmaking, but I'll get to that later. The story follows Ezra and Amira, a young couple who find love and connection over a shared interest of black culture, despite Ezra being white and Jewish, and Amira being black and Muslim. Whatever the case, their parents are a bit more of a hurdle to overcome, with Ezra's mother Shelley being more interested in her appearance as a tolerant individual, while Amira's father Akbar wants absolutely nothing to do with Ezra at all. Complications only grow further when Ezra proposes to Amira, pushing both parents to consciously and unconsciously sabotage the relationship however they can. That might sound a bit interesting, but the film does whatever it can to keep it from being so. The story has a pretty predictable structure, one which probably could have been pulled off in about 90 minutes, give or take, and ultimately just been a bit of a standard rom-com with some commentary and social discussions and all that jazz. Instead, what this film seems to do is move along as usual, then tamper back its momentum by lingering within a scene for a bit too long, while the characters have extended, likely improvised conversations where they get to the point a bit too soon, then keep going with jokes that fall flat, usually because they focus more on references or exaggerations than, comedy. It doesn't help that the actual performances are just as one-note and undeveloped as the writing itself, especially when it comes to Shelley and Akbar, portrayed by Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Eddie Murphy. The two have proven their worth as comedians in the past, but you wouldn't know that here based on Shelley's exaggerated mannerisms and Akbar's no-nonsense demeanor. The latter case might be appropriate for the character, but it seems just like a waste of talent, especially since it could have easily led to equal amounts of energy at odds with each other. We get relatively grounded performances out of Jonah Hill and Lauren London, who play Ezra and Amira, and everybody else in the cast just ends up making you feel sorry for them. And again, all of this is saddled with a rather empty storyline which tends to be more focused on individual scenes, with loose connections between them and subplots that are ignored or forgotten, all of which generally pushes more focus on the thematic ideas, which are still delivered pretty poorly due to the simplicity of the characters and the general lack of nuance. It's the whole point of the film, and it's treated like an after-school special. Speaking of which, the actual production of the film may as well be on the level of a TV special. Just about every scene is shot like it's on a TV set or some other location, beginning with flat and repetitive cinematography, shot from a handful of angles which require characters to stay in one place with little physical movement unless a scene is about to end. Editing is just as methodical, cutting on dialogue almost always to whoever is speaking next, and cutting between scenes on similar comedy beats or line drops, and with the same pauses before the actual edit. The actual set pieces are almost always blatantly used without much to hide them, the most apparent being a scene shot entirely from a single angle like a stage play. The soundtrack is a bit more subtle, but is still used like something in a TV show, staying low and underneath the dialogue to avoid overpowering anything else. It all comes together in the final film to make something that really does feel uncinematic, and instead it's more like a TV show that doesn't have any commercial breaks, drags on in scenes that pretend to be funny, forgets to have any real character or thematic development, and in the end feels more like a waste of time for anybody involved, whether they were in the film, working as a crew member, or had to watch the movie when it was all finally done. You People, Kenya Barris, 2023. 1 star. I don't recommend seeing it, unless they recut it as an actual TV movie or something, I guess. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I do think this movie could have been at least mid if it made a few changes. The first of these would obviously be making it an actual movie and not a TV miniseries cut down to 2 hours. The second would be cutting it down from 2 hours.